Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is yours, Dave. Guy online special guest drag racer Howard, Tony Crull. How you doing, Howard?
I'm doing wonderful.
That's great. So, with all this COVID-19 garbage going on now, were you able to do any drag racing yet?
I have not done any drag racing yet.
So you got the itch to get out there, or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
That beautiful nostalgic car you got. Tell us about that car.
It's a 65 Plymouth Belvedere 1, which is a sedan model. I got permission from Larry Griffith to kind of build it as a tribute towards the car that he raced, and also Jack Ferris raced another car very similar to it, both out of Ferris Motors in Savannah, Illinois.
So how many years have you had that car now?
I got that car in 2017 was my first year that I raced it.
Has the car been good to you?
Oh yeah, it's been really good to me. No issues, no problems with it. I made 100% of every race all season with it since we started racing with that car.
So how many events do you usually do a year?
It varies a little bit, anywhere from 15 to 20.
Now this year, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot less.
Yeah, it's gonna be much more limited this year for sure.
Do you have anything scheduled so far?
Right now, it looks like June 13th, we're going to race in Osborne, Missouri. And then after that, probably the out-of-sight drags there in Wisconsin. I'm not sure what's next on the schedule after that one. It looks like those events are at least going to happen, so.
So let's rewind the clock with you, Howard. How did you get into drag racing?
My dad was a drag racer back in the 60s. Just always been around it. I started racing around 2010. Had another 65 Plymouth before this one, and I raced a few other cars off and on before that. But Nostalgia Superstock drags with the other 65 Plymouth was called Crazy Engine. I still own that car. It's a real 426 four-speed car.
Now, do you still run that car?
I'm driving it as kind of a street car right now, but I still have it, and it's still got a full cage in it. It still could be raced. It's got a pretty stock motor in it at the moment.
So then after that car, you got the other tribute car you currently drive?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So after that, then you got the other Plymouth that you currently drive, the tribute car?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's the only two. That's the only two cars you've drag raced in, right?
At the moment, yes. I'm currently building another 64 Dodge, which is a real max wedge aluminum front 4-speed car. It was at the McCacken show this year in the barn find section, and it's currently get some body work and paint touch-up work done on it. And then we'll be putting it together as a race car too, which as a factory race car, that's what it's meant for.
So now, do you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you when you started out drag racing?
A couple of guys that I kind of followed along with the Nostalgia Superstock stuff. John Rose was, I took pictures of him when I was in high school, and he's still racing the same current car that I took pictures of him with back then, and now I race with him, and we travel quite a bit together to the events. So, and then Greg Kaufman, a Pontiac guy, was another guy that I watched quite a bit, and I've been able to race him now as well. So.
Now, what still keeps you passionate about drag racing?
It's just my hobby and kind of an escape for me to get away from everyday life, work stuff, and it's just a hobby for me. I like to go to my shop, work on my race car, and then I get to take it out on the weekends.
Now, if you could have the fans remember one thing about you, in your drag race, what would you want that to be?
Oh man, I don't know. Jack Ferris was always known. They called him Jumpin' Jack Ferris, which apparently he was pretty quick at reaction times, and that's something I worked on pretty hard the last couple of years. Just a lot of practice to try to get my reaction times down, where it makes the car a whole lot more competitive that way.
So what's the quickest DT you've had with this car?
Currently, 8th mile, it's went 6:22 at 109, and quarter mile, it went 9:93 at 134.
Now, do you prefer the quarter mile or 8th mile?
I like quarter mile myself, but we race a lot more 8th mile than we do quarter mile. But I just like the 8th mile because I like the longer track. Car runs a lot better at the big end of the track than it does off the starting line.
So what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
I love Norwalk, Ohio, which obviously is kind of one of the best tracks in the country. I race out there at the Pontiac Nationals every year, and then after that, probably Union Grove or Joliet.
Yeah, yes, the legendary Great Lakes Dragway.
Yep, that's our home track for Nostalgia Superstock. So.
Now, besides the outer street drags, are you guys doing any other things at Great Lakes Dragway this year? Like Labor Day weekend or anything?
We just have our normal schedule. Nothing extra going on this year. If we get to go back to even all of our normal events, because some of that's still up in the air, depending on what Illinois ends up doing, and Byron and Joliet both are still kind of up in the air what's going to happen. So.
Now, normally on a regular year without this coronavirus, how many events do you usually run at Union Grove?
Union Grove, 2 or 3 at least. And now with the out of sight drags happening there, it would have been more. So.
Yeah. Now, when you started drag racing, was your family involved with you when you started?
My dad helped me, quite a bit with, just what needed to be done with the car and stuff like that to begin with. But, he's not able to work on the cars anymore or anything like that. So it was just a lot of technical assistance and, things like that. But I actually found his old race car, one of his cars that he raced back in the day. I found it on the internet a few years ago and went and purchased it as well. So I've got it in my shop right now. It just got done getting painted. One of these days it'll be back on the track too. Nice.
Now, do you have any crew members?
Nope, just me. I do all my own stuff. One guy that has helped me with some engine building stuff recently, Dale Chenoweth, and he's a member of the Nostalgia Superstock Club as well. So, but he doesn't always come with me to the races or anything. I'm on my own at the racetrack. So,
you have any sponsorship?
Nope, just me.
Just your pocket. Yeah.
I got Ferris Motors' name on the car, but that's a dealership that closed. Back in the 70s, they switched to Ford, and then subsequently closed. And there's not around anymore. But the family doesn't use their name, and they're around. They see the car. So, matter of fact, yesterday was Mrs. Ferris's 86th birthday.
So now, what was your experience like the first time ever going down a drag strip?
I couldn't even tell you the first time I went down the drag strip. Probably at Mid-American Raceway in Missouri, Winsville, Missouri, now closed. The subdivision.
So how was the experience the first time ever going on a drag strip then?
Well, like I said, it was probably going to be in my '57 Chevy, and I don't even really remember a lot of it.
Well, how
it was
about
just a street car anyway. It wasn't quick, so.
well, how about going down a drag strip for the first time with this current car? How was that then?
Now this car has been a little different. It's started out 2017. I was just trying to go 1250. It was running like 1240s the first weekend I had it out. Cut down to 1190s, I think, was as good as it got that first weekend. And then just kept improving things to make it go quicker all the time.
Now, when you're out there on the track, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
No real superstitions necessarily. One of the backup girls that we had, she got killed in a traffic wreck 2 years ago, and her sticker's on the dash of my car. We were going to give the sticker away before I started into the water box.
Now, can you tell us what kind of preparation goes in for you to get the car ready for a weekend of drag racing?
For me, it's pretty much just, I might check the valves and make sure the oil's good to go. Fix all spark plugs, plug wires, air the tires. Other than that, the car's pretty much ready to go every weekend. That's the main things I have to check, just make sure. But like I said, I generally race the car every weekend or every other weekend at least. So whether it's with the club or not, I'm on the racetrack somewhere.
Now, have you reached any milestones in your drag racing career so far?
The big things for me was I wanted to go in the nines. I'd done last year. I want to get the professional drag driver's license. I have AHRA, IHRA, and NHRA, all three now. Other than that, I had a couple bucket list guys. John Rose was one of them. I've beat him a couple times now. And Ray Kaufman was one, and I got to beat him once last year at the Nationals.
So do you have anything else on your drag racing bucket list that you would still love to do?
I'm pretty much done with the bucket list race of things, I guess. Check them all off. Yeah.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
Man, I couldn't even tell you who made my fire suit that I currently got. Fire extinguisher I buy locally from our fire safety equipment here in town, Wood River area.
Now, what kind of tires are you running on your car?
I run Hoosier tires on the slicks, and the fronts are actually Mickey Thompson's. But
And what kind of fuel do you run on?
VP.
Now, for you, what would you consider to be your greatest? What race was your greatest memory?
Probably being able to finally get in either in the 10s or the 9s. Both of them were at Union Grove, so and they were kind of milestones for me at the time. I just remember, especially getting in the 10s. One of the track camera guys got a picture of it. I got a picture of that on my Facebook page, and Sherman and Gene Devney, which are competitors of ours, but Sherman's from the same town as me, and we've known each other. I've known him my whole life. He's my dad's age, but he's helped me quite a bit with the car off and on too, just little technical stuff and being around. He'll go with me on a test and tune night if nobody else is around in town, he'd go with. And coming back around to the timing check and him standing there, I pretty much knew that what that time slip was going to say. Those are the things I remember most, is like that, when somebody else was paying attention to what you were doing.
Now, how many drivers do you guys have in the Superstock group?
I'm not sure how many we currently have at the moment. I want to say around 20 or so.
Now, would you consider everybody in that group pretty competitive for you?
Oh yeah, they're all very competitive with one another. There's cars that are at different ends of the spectrum. Because we get cars that run in the 850 range. And my car is certainly never going to run at that rate, just based on what kind of motor I'm running and the weight of the car and stuff like that. So, and there are other guys that are at the more traditional end of the spectrum, and they're in that 1250 range.
So now, how did you get into that Superstock group?
Well, I knew Sherman and Gene. They've been running in the group for quite a while, and I had seen the group race at different events. Like I said, I'd seen John early on, and also John Grinwald and Rich Burlesk. I actually got their autographs when I was in shortly out of high school. First going to college, I think, was when I first went up and got a hero card from them and got their autographs, which I still have.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, since you've been drag racing, have you had any accidents or close calls?
No accidents for me. Close calls. The guy we call Uncle Dennis. We were at Joliet, and he dumped all the water out of his car just before, right at the 1,000-foot mark, and he ended up on my side of the track, and we got pretty close to one another, but neither one of us hit anything or each other, so we just kind of changed lanes and continued on down the track.
Well, knock on wood, you'll never have any accidents, Howard.
Yeah, and then at Greer last year, the same guy actually ran into my car with his car trailer.
Oh God!
Well, while it was sitting parked, my car was sitting parked. So.
Wow.
So I hope that's as serious as it ever gets for me.
Yeah. Now, outside of drag racing, do you have any other hobbies?
No, that's pretty much it. Other than it all kind of revolves around drag racing for me, because I do work on several of my other cars, but they're all aimed towards drag racing. I've got the '64 Max Wedge car. I said earlier, aluminum front end, 4-speed car, and then I have another '64 426 4-speed Polara 500 car that I'm working on. I've got a '68 Hemi Roadrunner that I'm working on. And then I have this 65 that I'm currently racing, the one I raced before it. And then my dad's old race car that I bought. And getting it back to racing conditions. So that's my hobbies, working on those. And do a little bit of motorcycle riding too, but not a lot.
All right, now let me ask you this fun little question here. If someone were to come up to you, Howard, and give you, we'll say, $800 million, and they wanted you to build a brand new drag race track with that money, where would you consider building a brand new drag race track, and what kind of features would you put into that track?
Oh man. Well, there's one way to become a millionaire in drag racing, that's for sure, and that's if you start out with that being a billionaire. I don't think anybody is in it to make money in our kind of racing, but I myself would prefer someplace southern where there's a little warmer temperature for a longer racing season. But that's like you say, if money was no object.
Yeah. So
you also got to go where the market is.
Yep. Any special features you put in the track?
Well, I don't know what it would be that somebody's not already trying. To me, that the good thing is you got to have a good racing surface, and you got to have facilities that are friendly towards the users. Some guys don't like driving a car in gravel. Some guys don't like parking in the grass. But all those things take money and lots of property to get done where it makes everybody happy.
Yep. Yeah, one thing I like about the Grove is how they got the return road going past the grandstand so the fans can all see it coming back.
Yep, that's a great feature at that track for sure. That's one of the things we like to do is get down to the end. You can kind of stop and we'll all stage down there together and all drive back as one group. A lot of times up there we'll have some young kids that come by and look at the cars. We'll pick one of them out and ask their parents to bring them down to the finish line of the racetrack during one of the races, and we'll let them ride in the passenger seat back up in front of the crowd, and they get to wave to the fans.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, the kids are the future.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You have any kids?
Nope, no kids of my own.
Maybe someday?
Nope, never been married.
Well, what are you waiting for? Get married.
No, not this late in the game. I got race cars to attend to.
No, so yeah, the race car is your wife.
That's right.
That's your money pit.
I kind of like going in 60 seconds. I call them my ladies, and they all have names.
Yeah. So now, throughout your drag racing career, have you won any trophies or plaques or any stuff like that?
Probably the biggest thing that I won the Greer event last fall down in Greer, South Carolina, which was kind of cool for me because Jack Ferris won an event there in 1965 in his Ferris Motors 65, so that was kind of cool. And then I did a grudge race down there against Travis Martin, and so he had to hand over the belt that he had made for that grudge race to me.
So how many years did your dad drag race?
Man, I don't know when he started. Sometime after he was disabled during his Vietnam time, and so he spent some time in the hospital recuperating from that. And he drove with hand controls after that. So, but I remember going to the racetrack in the '70s. Whitehall Drag Strip was still open. I think they closed in '76, and I know Mom forced him to quit drag racing and run around doing other silly stuff around the time my sister was born. So I know he raced at least 7 or 8 years there.
Now, did you help your dad out when he drag raced?
I was pretty young, but I learned how to change the spark plugs and do oil changes and that kind of stuff. I spent pretty much every day with him in the shop. So.
Now, have you ever crewed for anybody?
Nope, just my own stuff.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling, Howard, and go back in time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing career?
I'd have started a whole lot sooner. Yeah, that's what I always tell people. Don't wait, don't put it off, do it now. And I'm glad some of that stuff that I did decide to start doing now. I always thought I would do it once I retired and didn't have anything else to do, but I'm glad I started sooner.
So there you go for anybody listening that might thinking about drag racing. Start it now. Don't procrastinate, right?
Yeah, don't procrastinate, and even if you think you can't afford it, you can. It's just a matter of what level you're going to participate at.
Yeah, you can always start out with the bracket racing.
Yep. Yeah.
So now,
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of money to get started, that's for sure. But it does eat up some once you get started.
so now, have you ever wanted to do any? Have you ever wanted to race in any other kind of cars, like like nostalgia, pro stock, or pro mod, anything like that?
Oh, I'd love to try out a nostalgia pro stock car, but it's just a whole lot more expense and more equipment to buy. So I'm pretty much stuck with, or not stuck with, but I'm sealed into what I'm doing with my cars. So.
All right, let me ask you some more fun questions here now. What is your favorite food you like to eat?
Oh man, my favorite thing at the racetrack is to just get a good grilled hamburger.
Now, how about at home? What do you like to eat?
I'm pretty much a meat and potatoes guy at home, so.
Yeah, steak and potatoes.
Yep, yeah, that's me.
So, what's your favorite drink of choice?
I'm a big soft drink fan, so. Got a Coca-Cola sitting right in front of me at the moment.
All right. Now, do you drink alcohol?
Once in a while. I try not to.
So, if you drink alcohol, what do you like to drink?
Coors Light.
Yeah, once in a while is okay. If you have a big race day and a big win, you have a nice cold beer. It'd be nice after that race.
Yeah, that happens on occasion.
Good celebration.
Just try not to make it a big habit. That's all.
Yeah. Now, are you a movie guy? You watch movies?
Sure.
So, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Hollywood Nights.
All right. Now, what is your favorite type of music to listen to?
I'm pretty much a 60s guy.
60s rock and roll?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. You get that nostalgia feel right there listening to that 60s music.
Yep.
Goes with the nostalgia drag racing. Now, at the track, do you eat regularly on a race day, or do you eat light and wait till the races are done to eat more?
I'm a big lightweight eater at the racetrack. I'll try to get something for breakfast, and then I generally try not to eat anything till we're done racing. A lot of times, it gets so hot during the day, and
right.
And then in the car, it's just try not to have anything in my stomach.
Sitting in that fire suit.
Yeah, there at some of the races we were at Byron last year. The inside the car temperature was 150s.
Yeah. So now, when you were growing up as a kid, did you have a favorite cartoon to watch?
I was a big Roadrunner and Coyote fan.
That's what I get from a lot of drag racers. The Roadrunner, that's the Need for Speed right there. Beep beep.
Yeah. my ringtone on my phone right now is the Roadrunner.
There you go. So now, at any of the drag races you did, during a race, have you had a most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing moment. I've made a fool of myself plenty of times at the racetrack. Usually I get over them pretty quick. I'm not one to be too shy about things. So I do know one of the things I remember or was told I'd done. I don't remember very very well, but I guess I fell out of milk the Schrendel's trailer one night a couple of times.
Now, if you weren't doing drag racing, do you have any idea what you'd be doing?
Probably getting in trouble racing on the street.
All right, now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career? it doesn't even have to involve you racing. It could be it's just a memory of drag racing for you, fondest memory.
Like I said, earlier, one of my best memories is coming back up to the return check, getting those the 10-second and the 9-second slip for the first time, and then beating John Rose. Just and John and I are good friends, and John's helped me a lot with tuning carburetors and everything else. He's one of the guys. If I had an issue, he would come over and help me fix it, even if he knew we were going to race each other next round.
Well, that's the great thing about drag racing. It's all one big family, and everyone likes to help each other out.
Yeah, I call it my drag racing family.
Especially with the nostalgia guys, they like to help each other all the time.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're out there just to put on a show for the spectators and the racetrack and help them out. And so the better that we are competitive with one another, the better that comes out. So. It's not like we're beating each other for a win to take home a check or something. So,
right, you're just there to put on a great nostalgia show for the fans, right?
Right.
Long smoky burnouts.
Yep. Yeah, we did a thing a while back last year. I think it's really kind of started the year before, but we used to say we did the longest burnouts, the fastest car, prettiest bugs, biggest wheelies.
Now, do you ever do any dry hopping?
A little bit, not a lot. That's kind of hard on equipment. It wasn't a big thing for nostalgia super stock cars to do that. So it was more of the pro stock era.
Yep. Now, if people listening want to find out the super stock schedule, what's the best way for people to find a schedule online?
You can go to Nostalgia Superstock Inc. They have their own website, and the schedule's on there. But we also have a Facebook page, and I believe the schedule's always posted there as well. So.
Now, how important do you think it is for the kids to come out and watch drag racing?
Oh, it's very important. That's where the future is. If kids don't come out and get involved in it, we're not going to be able to keep doing this forever. The old guys that remember the original racing are unfortunately leaving us at an astonishing rate. So we don't get kids involved. It's not gonna continue to happen in the future.
Yeah, I always tell a bunch of guys in interviews, I always tell them if we could pull a lot of these kids away from these damn video games, maybe they come out and drag race. Maybe do anything away from the video games. but if they come, some of them might come to drag race. Maybe they'll love the drag racing. Get away from the video games more.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to do. I see kids walking around the track. Even if their parents are interested in drag racing, sometimes the kids are still looking at their cell phones or playing their video games and not paying attention to what's going on around them, and they're missing out.
Yeah, because like when we were younger, we'd be out playing all the time outside.
Yeah.
All the way till the streetlights come on.
Yeah.
Dinner time, I'd come back in for dinner. Then after dinner, I'd run back outside and play a little more, and then come back in and get to bed for school.
Yeah, I think all of us our age we're on that schedule.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My dad started taking me to watch drag racing when I was like 4 or 5 years old. That was back in the 70s, like 75, 76, somewhere around there. Started going to Great Lakes Dragway and then the US 30 drag strip in Indiana. Those two were the two main ones. Yeah. Have you ever been to US 30?
Mine was. Oh, what's that?
Did you ever go to US 30 when they were open?
Nope, not before my time of racing. When Dad was racing, we went to Gateway at Madison, Illinois, and Whitehall Drag Strip was still open. I remember that one being as a kid. But I've got some pictures of his car that I took there while he was out on the track driving, and I was taking pictures. And I would have been 5 years or under at that time at the racetrack on my own.
That is
You know, that'd be unheard of today to leave your 5-year-old kid in the stands while you went out and raced.
Now, you still have all your old pictures?
I don't have all of them, but I do have a few.
Man, those are a memory of a lifetime right there.
Yep, taken with an old Kodak 110 camera.
Yeah, I remember the old days of using the 35 millimeter camera all the time, and then going to have to develop the rolls of film all the time, bring them into the store, then go pick them up when they're ready.
Yeah, and you took a whole bunch of pictures, and you had 3 that were good.
Yeah, right.
I like the digital thing now, where they take hundreds of pictures at a time, and they're all fairly good. You know.
Yeah. It's like, man, I wasted a whole roll of film. Yeah. So, Howard, I want to thank you.
Definitely wasted my share of that.
Yeah. Well, Howard, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
I certainly appreciate you having me on to do the interview.
Oh, no problem. Hope you had fun.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you have any final words for, the fans?
Come see us at the racetrack.
And then the next one is Outer Street Drags?
Yeah, that'll be the next one for me. Yep, up there at Union Grove.
So, come see Howard and the super stock cars at the Great Lakes Dragway in Union Grove, Wisconsin. What's the date on that one?
Give me 1 second here. I just gotta look at my calendar real quick. Out of Sight Drags is June 26th, 27th, 28th weekend.
All right, there you go. June 26th, 27th, 28th, Great Lakes Dragway, Union Grove, Wisconsin. So if you live in Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, anywhere, you come out there and watch these guys run these cars.
Yep, Bruce City Gaskers is who's hosting that event. They'll have plenty of their cars there as well.
Yeah, you see a lot of old drag race cars at that event. So if you're into the old nostalgia drag racing, that's the event for you if you want to go to that one. So thanks again, Howard, and I hope you have a great night and stay safe, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
All right, bye.